Hey, how you going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with Crank, and now with thatmetalstation.com. And today I'm having a chat with Shattered Hourglass. We've got Raiden, Craig, and Ryan. G'day, guys. Cheers for joining me.
All right, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Jai.
It's an absolute pleasure to get a second chat again. This is cool, guys. I had a chat to Raiden, I think it was just over a year ago now, and a lot has happened in that year. We know besides everything else that's happened, you guys have managed to make your debut album, which I kind of was chatting to you guys. We were kind of briefly talking about moving towards that direction. You were three-piece as well at that time. Yep. So you've done the debut album, you've made the debut album, recorded it, and you're all set to go. And you've got your album launch coming up on the 27th of February as well.
7th of February with 3 other album launches too. It's got to be some kind of a record. Or I know it's pretty epic though. All the local bands and just coming to Port Perry and
it's for such a regional gig. Yeah,
I'm about to crank it. And probably one of the first gigs back since all the dramas of the world unfolding recently. So it's going to be.
Well, it's going to be good because we're all set to have this kind of album launch and this gig kind of as it all happened. I was talking to Dan and I was all ready to come up for it, and then kind of everything fell through the floor. So it's good that you're all able to come back together and go, look, okay, now we're going to do this album launch and we're going to give it a good push that it kind of deserved.
That's it. Yeah, and tighten the screws a little bit more as well. Get it a little bit more sharper live and get that. No, I suppose everyone's hungry for live music again, so the scene's ready to pounce, and so are we, I suppose.
So, well, I know I'm hungry to get out there and do it. So we should be hungry to eat it.
Yeah, you, Raiden, you keen to get on stage again, mate?
Yeah, it's been a while since I have been to like a big gig or something like that. It should be exciting.
Yeah, well, I think I was talking to your dad and you were all set to go to a gig that was kind of cancelled for you as well. And you were like, it was one of the ones that was cancelled. What show was that? I can't remember.
Probably
one of many.
Yeah, we had a few.
I know, one of many.
Pretty good. We had a good response from the first. I suppose we had a demo and played a few shows, and then they were lining up, and I think it was either Metal United Down Under. That might have been the one you were talking about, and then there's also the Unearthed Whyalla Festival. Bit of a it was kind of the only metal band on that bill, and that was interesting. We were playing after I suppose an acoustic folk singer, amazing musician, and she's got such a beautiful voice, but then we were going to come on and just destroy the place. So, which is great. But yeah, no, it was, there was a few there. I mean, like everyone else, everything was cancelled, and you just got to charge your head with what you're doing. And so we went to the studio and pressed record.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that. But first I want to chat about how, Raiden, how'd you get these guitar compositions together, mate? How did you arrange your songs, and how did you start kind of the bones of tracks? Was it you and Dad going around at home with guitar and drums, or was it you riffing away some riffs and going, Dad, I've got this, let's kind of put something together, then bringing the other guys on board? Can you tell me a little bit about your process in making songs and music?
Yep. So most of the time I just pick up the guitar, just play around with random notes, see if I can make a riff out of it, see if I can make another riff, put them together, and then make a song. And then I'll show the others and see how they want to put their stuff to it. It should work out well most of the time.
Yeah, add some flavour.
Definitely has worked out.
The core's already done. Like Raiden's really got a bit of an innate ability to write riffs and stuff, and it gets all us excited. Like, I mean, yeah, it's kind of easy to write to and just sprinkle a bit of flavour on top of what he's already doing, and highlight the guitars as well. That's a big thing to try and do.
The riffmanship and the musicianship to this is just unreal, and it was unreal a year ago when I was chatting to him now. So when I've got to hear that Timekeeper album when it dropped and you'd sent me some tracks early, I was really blown away by the talent, and to see that you are keeping going with it as well. What's it like for you growing up as a 12-year-old metalhead and keeping that motivation to want to keep creating and going on with heavy metal?
Oh, most kids that you see now, they're listening to like pop or dubstep or something. metal just, it's something special for me. I want to keep it going, you know, because, yeah, a lot of great people in the metal community helping out and stuff. But yeah.
And it's the funnest to play.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So how do you arrange the vocals? So for the Raiden, you've got out the rough bones. You've all kind of got together in the jam space. You've got the rough idea of the song. So how do you work the vocals in too? Who does the songwriting and everything as well, Ryan?
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you off my head which songs they had already written before I rocked up. So I've been 3 months, 4 months, maybe a little bit longer. But yeah, so they had 4 songs written vocally. I think it was only one of them that I needed to change around to fit my rhythms. And I think it was 4 that I wrote myself. Because there was already a subject there, it was a lot easier for me to write lyrics for the first time, for those songs. And as most people would do if they end up writing songs, they don't think it's any good. So I was showing the guys as I was writing them, they're like, no, that's good, that's good, that's good. And I was glad I did that because I would have scrapped most of the stuff that I would have written before even showing anyone. So, yeah. But, yeah, I'm still learning the process because this is my first vocal project.
Yep.
Yeah, I was in a band before. I was in a shitty rock band playing drums. So, yeah, this is my first real foray into this. So, it's an exciting process. And being able to work with such good musicians as Raiden and Craig and our bass player Mick, it just makes it so much easier. And, yeah, it's an amazing process.
So what was that like, making that transition from drums to vocals? I've talked to a lot of musicians and vocalists that have been like either i.e. a drummer or a guitarist first, and they've said they've kind of unwillingly at times transitioned to doing the vocals as well, because you play guitar too.
Yeah, well, I started off playing guitar as a young fella, about Raiden's age now. Yep. That's when I started, and I've always been a struggler. I've struggled to do stuff, and it takes me a while to learn. So I decided a fair few years ago that I like guitars more than I actually like playing them. So I've got more guitars than I've got talent. So I still enjoy playing guitars and trying to learn some of the rhythm sections that Raiden's written. That blows my mind that anyone, it doesn't matter, can just put that together and go, yep, this is a song and this is how you do it. It still baffles me to this day. And it just makes it's an inspiration, to put it simply, I guess.
So how did you get on? How did you get on board with Shattered Hourglass, and how did this happen?
Craig likes to tell this story, so I'll
cheers, do it.
Right, so we were playing a gig once, and as a 3-piece, Raiden, Mick, and I, and Ryan's other shitty band was not shit band. You sell yourself short, bro.
That's it. It's human nature. I do it as well. I think, and most musicians I've talked to have said it, man, I can't stand the sound of my own voice. I'm the same. Yeah. Musicians are the same. I think it's just an artist thing. We have a somewhat critical view of ourselves, but it helps you grow too. You go, okay.
And it's always enjoyable. I mean, I've made the decision a long time ago not to take myself or music itself too seriously. When you have to, obviously, you got to get in there, you got to do a job, so to speak, but even then, it's still fun. Getting in the recording studio for the first time ever recording lyrics was one of the funnest times I've ever had in my life. Yeah, and I'll always remember that.
Yeah, let's get back into the story. I'm keen to hear the story now, Craig.
Right. So we were playing along, and I think it was like one of the first songs in, like Brainwasher, I think it was. And just jamming along, and Mr. Enthusiastic over here is just beside the drum riser, just going, like as loud as he could over the top of all the instruments and the PA, and we're like, we need to get that guy. And then, you come in for a bit of a jam, and it sounded good, man. And he had the energy and the drive and the passion and the sound to fill us out. And
Yeah, and how was that for you, Raiden? That would have been a cool feeling, having Ryan come on board and kind of rounding out this project and this brainchild of your Shattered Hourglass, because it really is kind of your brainchild and your project. You do the core of the songwriting as well, and this is something you've been quite passionate about for a long time. I know from interviewing you last year and talking with Dad and everything, this is your dream and your passion, man. So what was it like getting the vocalist on board and finding this album together? It would have been pretty cool. As my dog goes, yeah, my puppy.
Doing the job.
Yeah, when we got Ryan on board, I was really excited because we finally had like a full band. Because bass, drums, guitar, and vocals.
As we were chatting about Raiden, what was it like getting Ryan on board and kind of rounding out this dream of yours and this project?
Yeah, it was exciting because having the full band now, we got vocals, drums, bass, and guitar. It was just really exciting for me. I didn't think it would get that far at the point, but it did, and now I wanted to keep it going. It was really, really exciting.
And so, recording and production. So, what was it like to get in and finally get in and do the recording as well on this debut album?
Going in there and coming out, knowing that I've recorded an album with my dad and two other guys, which that was pretty cool. And then getting to hold a CD like not too long after that felt like an accomplishment.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
And he's worked with Andy Catt down there at Against the Grain Studios as well. He's like done so many metal albums, like not only here in Australia, but with some top quality Australian bands. What was it like working with Andy Catt? I got to interview him last year as well. He's in Descendatron as well. Shout out to his band.
Yeah, great bands. He's in a few actually. We're big fans of his work and what he's done. And I mean, that's why we went there, because we heard the sound he produces, and yeah, just a cool guy to work with, and made it super easy. We had a big target to try and smash out 10 songs in like 6 days, and we did that. And pretty much we'll lay that all on Raiden. He just smashed the guitars like unbelievable. But Andy made the process so easy and just real calm, and it was a pleasure to work with, and the results of the sound that we got, and we caught the moment, and we caught it well, and we really thank him for that. It was epic.
Yeah, did you enjoy that recording and production process, Raiden? Because I've talked to some bands and they're like, it was grueling, but I'm glad it's done, and they're really happy with final products and that. But sometimes some of the musicians I've talked to, they said it's quite grueling. How was that process for you?
Yeah, it was fun for the most of it, and at points I was like struggling to get parts perfect, and because we were doubling up 2 guitars, had to get it perfect. It is a recording though, so
yeah,
got used to it.
You got used to it. And how'd you like working with Andy Catt as well? Because he's done a lot of albums. It must have been pretty cool for you being 12 and working with someone as talented as that man, being a producer and the recording and the things he's done. Would have been a cool process.
Yeah, it's he's a really nice guy, and then when you hear him on like all his bands, he's just...
Like what?
Shattered Hourglass, this has been an absolute pleasure to get to chat with you guys. We're going to sign out for this part of the interview, but before we do, I'm going to ask for last word shout outs from all you guys as we go through, or anything else I may have forgotten before we do sign out.
Well, thanks, Jai, for your support and pumping us out there, and everyone's support on this journey. It's been a pretty cool ride. For me personally, with Raiden, my boy, and my brothers in South Australia now, and just thanks everyone for listening and make sure you turn it up. Thanks for the support.
Raiden, did you want to add in anything else, mate?
Yeah. What do you say?
Keep cranking the metal.
Yeah.
Ryan, did you want to add in anything, mate? Just
Yeah, well, I'm going to cop out and say exact same thing as Raiden, what he said. But I'm going to add on top of that, and I want to thank Raiden and Craig for giving me the opportunity to step in and be a part of this amazing, crazy journey. It's amazing, yeah.
Well, shout out to our brother Mick, who can't be here right now, but on your mate.
yeah, Mick on bass. Cheers, mate. Everyone, go out, grab the Timekeeper album, Shattered Hourglass, put it in your stereo. That's the one. Turn it up really loud because the neighbours are going to want to hear it as well. Cheers, guys.
Thanks,
Mate.
Joe.